The Aztecs once fed 200,000 people in inarable swampy land by creating floating gardens they farmed extensively. Now the reason I put this picture up here is because when they use their weather modification devices, HARP plus other ones they have, and they wash the crops away and so they can force the price of food up so nobody can afford to live, just bear in mind we can plant our own. Just get some seeds ready just in case, or whatever precautions you need just in case, because we are coming to crunch time. Somebody asked me, what am I going to do when I make it to the top? I said, reach my hand back down for the rest. England faces new grooming scandal as 27,000 children are lured into gangs, says Children's Commissioner. At least 27,000 children have been lured into violent street gangs, the Children's Commissioner has revealed, as she warned local authorities are neglecting a problem as big as the sex grooming scandal. Annie Longfield said only 6,506 of the children had been identified by child protection agencies as gang members, which left more than 20,000 trapped without the help they needed to escape the cycle of drugs, violence and killing. She said the same mistake that led to the sex grooming scandals a decade ago in towns such as Rochdale and Rotherham were now being repeated as criminals groomed vulnerable children to join their gangs. Federal grand jury to hear evidence that 9/11 was a controlled demolition. The 9/11 truth movement has been active and persistent for over 17 years, and while mainstream media won't touch the story, and while most Americans refuse to even consider the possibility that the attacks were an inside job, the actual evidence supporting controlled demolition theory is so convincing that the legitimate federal grand jury investigation will address this very question. Thousands of architects and engineers, pilots, security professionals, journalists and concerned citizens have been demanding that the federal government release the truth about the attacks, all noting that there is overwhelming circumstantial and scientific evidence proving that the World Trade Center towers, including Building 7, were brought down by pre-planned controlled demolition. The evidence for this is exceptionally captivating, and the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that a grand jury consider this possibility. Finally, the US Attorney has issued a response agreeing to comply with the law and open to a grand jury investigation. This could mark the most substantial... I can't read the bottom line, it's only got half a line. But I've been banging on about that for years and years and years. Guess what? Something else I was right about. Former Schwarzenegger advisor arrested in statewide human trafficking operation. Well, there's a shock. I'm sure none of us saw that coming. Schwarzenegger connected to the, I guess you want to call it the Illuminati, child trafficking, raping, murdering gang. Well, who'd have thought? Oh yeah, everyone that's watched any of his movies. A man who once advised former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of 4 alleged Johns arrested by police in Citrus Heights, California as part of a statewide human trafficking crackdown. Daniel Pellicio was arrested by the Citrus Heights Police Department in Sacramento County as part of an Operation Reclaim and Rebuild, a 3-day sweep led by the Los Angeles County Regional Human Trafficking Task Force. The crackdown led to more than 500 arrests, including 30 suspected traffickers and 178 alleged Johns. Pellicia, 57, served as Deputy Secretary for Energy and Environment, where an advised Schwarzenegger and oversaw California's natural resources and environment protection agencies. According to a biography on UC Berkeley's Institute of Government Studies, he later became president of an advocacy group called California Pension Reform. Citrus Heights police used the internet and other tactics, including undercover operations, to make 10 arrests. The arrests were for prostitution and prohibition violations, as well as felony and misdemeanor warrant arrests, the police department said in a statement. Our efforts were focused on identifying and arresting the pimps, those who were coordinating the service of victims, and Johns, those seeking to take advantage of those victims, and rescuing the victims of human trafficking, police said. The city of Citrus Heights and the community of Citrus Heights do not tolerate human trafficking and will continue to detect, deter and hold those accountable for their involvement in prostitution and victimizing others. Sacrificial Virgins, a must-see film about young girls being severely damaged by HPV Gardasil vaccine. I would never give my daughter or my son the shot. This is a massive PR event by the company that makes Gardasil, and the same is the truth for the company that makes SurveyX. I think one needs to do a lot of research, and I think parents are in the best position to do that. Dr. Christopher Shaw, University of British Columbia. This is a great point, and one that was further emphasised by Dr. Peter Goshesh, co-founder of Cochrane Collaboration, the world's most foremost body in assessing medical evidence. The main reason we take so many drugs in this is that drug companies don't sell drugs, they sell lies about drugs. This is what makes drugs so different from anything else in life. Virtually everything we know about drugs is what the companies have chosen to tell us, and our doctors. The reason patients trust their medicine is that they extrapolate the trust they have in their doctors into the medicines they prescribe. It's all smoke and mirrors, always has been. Researchers discover that magnesium, not calcium, is the key to healthy, strong bones. While calcium is important, it is the only factor in determining the health of our bones. It is a commonly held myth that calcium holds the key to strong, healthy bones. However, overwhelming evidence is now suggesting that it is magnesium, not calcium, that provides strength and longevity to our skeletal structure. These new claims are made by Pediatric Academic Society's annual meeting, who are now saying that parents should be focusing on magnesium levels just as much as calcium to build healthy, strong bones. Danger of too much calcium. Several studies have linked elevated levels of calcium, particularly the use of calcium supplements, with a greater risk of heart attacks, especially in women. And let's not forget, if you take sugar, for every 1 drop of sugar, you need over 50 drops of magnesium for your body to get rid of that sugar. And that's why we're all calcium deficient. By design, of course, as everything is. Town where the police have given up. Hartlepool has only 10 officers for a population of 90,000 people, forcing residents to patrol the streets and try to solve crimes on Facebook. Now, do you think this is by accident or part of the New World Order? Because if we can cause enough chaos, we can bring in our New World Order out of the chaos, can't we? A town with a population of 90,000 has had its streets abandoned by police and been left with just 10 officers on duty at a time. Residents at Hartlepool, County Durham, band together to patrol their neighbourhoods after police failed to respond to a spate of thefts and burglaries. Locals have taken to solving their crimes on Facebook after budget cuts saw the number of frontline officers at Cleveland Police slashed by 500 in the past 8 years. Politicians said police had given up responding to some calls from hard-working taxpayers and warned that the situation is similar to towns across Britain. They complain that the Cleveland force receives less funding than more affluent areas while struggling with high crime in Hartlepool, Redcar, Cleveland, Stockport and Middlesbrough. Just 10 officers are on duty overnight in Hartlepool, a coastal town with a population of 92,000, and police cars sit empty because there are not enough officers to fill them. Cleveland police announced on Monday they were shutting down the town's custody suite to save money, forcing officers to drive anyone they arrest to Middlesbrough police station 15 miles away. On a recent Saturday night, all 10 police officers were busy dealing with incidents, meaning there were no one left to respond to emergency calls. A BBC News investigation found at one stage 4 officers were driving prisoners to Middlesbrough. You see them building the chaos so they can offer their order out of the chaos. The demise of the nation state. After decades of globalisation, our political system has become obsolete, and spasms of resurgent nationalism are a sign of its irrelevant decline, by Rana Dasgupta. What is happening to national politics? Every day in the US, events further exceed the imagination of absurdist novelists and comedians. Politicians in the UK still show few sight of recovery after the national nervous breakdown of Brexit. France narrowly escaped a heart attack in last year's elections, but the country's leading daily feels this has done little to alter the accelerated decomposition of the political system in neighbouring Spain. El País goes so far as to say that the rule of law, the democratic system and even the market economy are in doubt. In Italy, the collapse of the establishment in the March elections has even brought talk of a barbarian arrival, and if Rome were falling once again. In Germany, meanwhile, neo-fascists are preparing to take up their role as official opposition, introducing anxious volatility into the bastion of European stability. But the convulsion in national politics are not confined to the West. Exhaustion, helplessness at the dwindling effortness, the old ways, these are the themes of politics all around the world, because they're all run by the same bunch of corrupt twats. This is why energetic authoritarian solutions are currently so popular. Distraction by war, Russia, Turkey, etho-religions, purification, India, Hungary, Myanmar, the magnification of presidential powers and the corresponding abandonment of civil rights and the rule of law, China, Rwanda, Venezuela, Thailand, the Philippines and many more. What is the relationship between these various upheavals? We tend to regard them as an entirely separate, for in political life, national solipsism in the rule. But basically, they're all controlled by the same few that controls all the rest. All governments are just puppets put there to give you an illusion of choice. Oh yeah, I voted for him and look, he's in, so my vote counts. Oh, well, I voted for him and he didn't get in, so my vote mustn't count. Metro. We're going to get a lot of this. Champagne super over. England's cricketers win nail-biting World Cup final on a thrilling day of sport. Didn't see it. The scum. Wow's that? England win first World Cup final, most thrilling ever. Well, if it's the only one there's ever been, then I would guess it's probably going to be the most thrilling ever. Telegraph. Who said cricket was boring? Me, actually. Very boring. Daily Fail. In one of the most nerve-shredding sports matches ever, hero Stokes inspires England to Cricket World Cup glory. Kiss that says we're on top of the world. Oh, so they're going to be something bad coming then, because last time we won the Olympics, they then carried out 7-7 the next day. Aye. World champions. Euphoria as England win the most thrilling match in cricket history. Yeah. Thrilling and cricket just don't go together. Nation watchers rapt at host triumph over New Zealand. World Cup remediation for man of the match Ben Stokes. Incredible day of UK sporting drama will be cherished for a few days at most, I suppose. Hunt launches bid to save Iran nuclear deal. Tory leadership warns Middle East nuclear power could pose external threat. France and Germany join Britain in raising the alarm. Foreign Secretary will appeal to EU main ministers for backing. Djokovic beats follow legend Federer. The rise of aged adolescents, Lucy Kellaway. Hamilton wins record 6th British Grand Prix. Eating insects is good for your health, scientists say. They may be, but I ain't doing it. The Guardian. I'm still waiting for an apology. The journalist who Boris Johnson conspired to have beaten up. Tory hopeful claimed 1990 incident was a joke, but Stuart Collier says he is not fit to be PM. Day one in a week-long series casting new light on a would-be PM. The paramount of exaggeration and distortion and lies. How he lost his first election. Oh God, these papers are boring as shit. The Times. Johnson to seek Trump deal in first move as PM. Frontrunner plans US trip to repair relationship. Jordan Patterson haunted by scandal. The controversial academic answers back. England then 44-year wait for glory in crazy final. Tanker offer for Iran. Rowling charity chief Hammond to fight on. Chinese surveillance. Democrats attacks. Drug alert betrayed. Drug giant betrayed. Express. Out of this world. England are cricket champions in amazing nerve-shedding final. Alarm at 1,500 careers with no training. 500,000 careers with no training. Oh, that's right, I get it. Mirror, Champagne super over. England win the World Cup after the most dramatic cricket game ever. End this horror. As two trophy hunters celebrate the senseless slaughter of a magnificent animal with their kiss of death, we launch our fight to ban this sick sport. Waste of paper. Champagne super over. Most amazing end to cricket match ever. Yeah. Well, you can't believe anything you read in these shit sheets. Dad's Army exclusive. Do tell 'em, Pike. Bosses. Keep anti-German gags in new show. Bell of the Brawl. So they must be remaking Dad's Army. That'd be shit by comparison, I would imagine. FT. England Champagne super over. Lam's offer to quit as Hong Kong leader turned down by Beijing. That England Champagne super over. They must have been thinking about that for all of 1 millisecond. No one wants the jobs. Extradition bill a total failure. Clashes in shopping district. Gilbert set to assume revolt chair to help steer digital bank fundraising. Johnson's time as mayor offers leadership clues. And finally, online relationships have expiry date. It will never be forever. Online marriage always end in electronic divorce called blocking. Yes or no? When I was in school, I was told pussy was a cat, sex meant gender, bitch was a female dog, dick was a name, bang was a sound, rubber was an eraser, ass was an animal, screw was just a tool, head meant a part of a body, balls meant a round toy, nuts meant dry fruit, 69 was just a number, and then I came across all you dirty effers and my education was ruined. Because you were all thinking of the other alternative mean there, weren't you? Your husband moved to room number 14.